Welcome to TractoMemo. Today we'll uncover 5 classic tractors that define farm life: the sturdy David Brown 990, the bold Allis-Chalmers WD45, the proud Farmall M, the powerful John Deere 4020, and the tough Massey Ferguson 135. Each one carries stories of strength, memory, and timeless heritage. Stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to TractoMemo for more journeys into farming history. David Brown 990. Year 1965 mist lifts over the damp Yorkshire fields, where a white and brown tractor badge glints near the hedge. From the Meltham Mills factory in northern England, the David Brown 990 rolled out with steady confidence, designed to serve both small family farms and mid-sized operations. At its launch, it offered something rare: reliable horsepower at a price that ordinary farmers could afford. For growers across Britain and later in the American Midwest, this machine became more than a tool, it was a daily partner. The 990 carried a 4-cylinder diesel engine that delivered around 55 horsepower at rated speed. It was strong enough for plowing heavy soil yet gentle enough for mowing and baling hay. Its Select-O-Matic system, introduced during this era, made hydraulic control easier, letting farmers raise or lower implements with precision. Beneath its hood, the engine worked smoothly, breathing steadily through cold mornings and long summer days. The transmission, with 12 forward gears, gave flexibility for field rows and road travel alike. On open ground it reached nearly 17 miles per hour, quick enough for hauling wagons or heading into town. The fuel tank held close to 17 gallons, a size that allowed long stretches of work before a refill. With a weight of roughly 5,000 pounds, the tractor stood compact yet sturdy, giving it balance and traction without feeling cumbersome. Farmers admired the toughness of its steel frame and the way it endured season after season. This tractor was not built for show, it was built to last. Its lines were plain, its paint modest, but its reputation grew each year it rumbled through muddy spring furrows or dusty autumn harvests. Owners often spoke of its easy service: filters, fluids, and belts could be tended without calling a mechanic. Many remembered that the 990 rarely left them stranded in the field. Memories linger of early mornings when frost clung to fence posts and the engine barked to life with a cough, then settled into a steady rumble. Diesel smoke drifted slowly across hay bales stacked by the barn, mingling with the smell of oil and cut straw. The seat might have been cold at dawn, but the warmth of the motor soon spread through steel and hands alike. Generations recall the sound that carried over the hedgerows, a heartbeat of rural life. Today, a second-hand David Brown 990 is still sought after by collectors, restorers, and small farmers who prize simplicity. Spare parts remain available, though buyers must watch for wear in the hydraulic system and cracks in old wiring looms. Rust around the fenders is also common after decades outdoors. Those who inspect carefully can still find solid machines that start on the first turn. Depending on condition and restoration, prices on the used market often range about $3,000 to $6,000, a modest sum for such enduring reliability. The legacy of the 990 is significant. It helped David Brown expand globally, showing that compact tractors could perform heavy work without excessive size or cost. Its influence carried forward into later Case and Case IH machines after company mergers. Across Europe and America, clubs and online forums share manuals, restoration tips, and family stories about the old white and brown workhorse. Many of these tractors still run today, their paint faded but their engines willing, proof of design meant to last. Picture it now: a white hood, a brown frame, wheels gripping damp earth as a steady chug echoes across the field. Half a century may have passed, but the sound and sight of the 990 remains stitched into the fabric of farm life. Leaving the damp meadow at dawn, we hear the cam leading the way of the Allis-Chalmers. Allis-Chalmers WD45. Year 1953. Fresh paint gleamed bright orange against the summer sun, and the fields of the Midwest buzzed with anticipation. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Allis-Chalmers unveiled the WD45, the first in its class to deliver factory-installed power steering. It was more than a tractor, it was a sign that the future of farming had arrived. Rows of corn stretched tall, and orange silhouettes rolled steady past the barns. For farmers needing more muscle after the post-war boom, the WD45 was the answer. Under the hood lay a 4-cylinder gasoline engine producing about 45 horsepower, with an optional diesel version offering even more torque. Its engine displaced nearly 226 cubic inches, tuned for dependable performance under heavy loads. Rated speed hovered near 1,400 RPM, and when matched with the power director hand clutch, the tractor gave farmers a unique ability, shifting on the move without losing momentum. This innovation saved countless minutes during plowing and harvesting. With a 6-speed transmission, top speed reached roughly 14 miles per hour. The fuel tank held around 15 gallons, enough for a full day in the field. Tipping the scales at about 4,000 pounds, the WD45 struck a balance between agility and power. The standout feature was its power steering, introduced in 1954, which turned long days of cultivating into manageable work. No longer did farmers wrestle the wheel through each row, instead, steering felt smooth and almost effortless. Its snap coupler hitch system also allowed quicker attachment of implements, giving versatility across crops and seasons. Reliability became its trademark. Farmers said the WD45 could run hard for decades with little complaint. Memories return of orange paint glowing under the dusk, the steady hum echoing across bean fields. Children remembered climbing onto the steel fenders, feeling the vibration through their boots while the smell of warm gasoline lingered in the air. At sunrise, the sound of its engine carried over the corn, a rhythm of rural America in the 1950s. Today, the WD45 remains a favorite among collectors and working farms alike. Buyers should inspect the snap coupler hitch for wear and check for leaks around the hydraulic pump. Steering gear, though sturdy, sometimes shows play after decades. Replacement parts, however, are still widely available thanks to the strong collector network. Depending on restoration, prices usually fall between $2,500 and $5,000, though pristine examples can reach higher. The WD45 left a deep mark on farming history. It was one of the first tractors to combine mid-range horsepower with modern features that made life easier. Its power steering became standard in later generations across brands. Enthusiast clubs still parade the bright orange machines at county fairs, where their paint shines as proudly as it did 70 years ago. Picture a twilight field, orange steel framed against golden stalks, the tractor rumbling low while fireflies spark in the distance. The WD45 still whispers of progress, of farms moving confidently into a new age. Through the stretch of golden cornfields, the red Farmall appears like a harvest memory. Farmall M. Year 1939. Red steel glowed against the dust of the Great Plains, as farmers prepared for both harvest and history. From Rock Island, Illinois, International Harvester introduced the Farmall M, the flagship of its new generation. Its timing was remarkable, arriving at the edge of World War II, just as America's farms needed strength to feed both troops abroad and families at home. The M quickly became one of the most recognizable tractors in the nation. Rows of wheat bent under prairie wind while its red frame powered forward, and by the 1940s the Farmall M was everywhere. Beneath the hood lay a 4-cylinder gasoline engine producing about 38 horsepower, later boosted with kerosene or distillate versions. With a displacement of nearly 247 cubic inches, it delivered torque enough for heavy tillage and threshing. Rated speed was close to 1,450 RPM, and paired with a sliding gear transmission of 5 forward speeds, it managed both row crop work and transport duties. Top speed reached roughly 16 miles per hour, giving farmers flexibility for field and road. The fuel tank held around 21 gallons, supporting long harvest days without frequent stops. At nearly 5,000 pounds, the Farmall M had the weight to grip soil yet remained maneuverable for row crops. What set the M apart was its versatility. It could handle plows, mowers, cultivators, and belt-driven equipment with ease. International Harvester designed it for adaptability, offering both tricycle and wide front configurations. Its clutch was steady, and its frame strong, making it one of the most durable machines of its time. Farmers praised its ability to run year after year with basic care, and mechanics admired how parts were accessible for quick service. The memories tied to the Farmall M stretch deep into rural life. At dawn, the engine coughed alive, echoing across barns as dew clung to fence posts. Its exhaust note had a hollow, commanding tone, less a hum than a call across the land. Children recalled clambering up the narrow steel seat, gripping the worn wheel while their fathers guided furrows straight as ribbons. The smell of hot oil and the crackle of dry stalks under wheels became part of summer afternoons. For many, the M was the soundscape of mid-century farming. In the used market today, the Farmall M remains highly sought after. Buyers should check the transmission for gear wear and inspect hydraulics on later Super M variants. Rust on sheet metal is common, but the bones of the tractor often remain strong. Thanks to a vast production run, well over 270,000 units, parts are still easy to source, making restorations practical. Prices generally range from $2,000 to $4,500, with fully restored models commanding more at auctions. The Farmall M's legacy is immense. It defined the look of the red tractor, a symbol that still endures in barns, parades, and collector fields. Its influence shaped International Harvester's reputation and carried forward into later Farmall and Case IH designs. Across the Midwest, gatherings of vintage machinery still feature rows of M models, their paint bright and their engines proud. Picture it again, a long red frame cutting through golden grain, exhaust stack puffing against a white prairie sky. The Farmall M is not just remembered, it is still alive in the rhythm of American farming. Then the green of Deere led the farm into a new era of power. John Deere 4020. Year 1963 cornfield stood tall as a man, and a new sound whispered through the heartland. John Deere released the 4020, a machine that would become one of the most successful tractors in American history. Painted in iconic green and yellow, it symbolized a new era of fuel injection, more horsepower, and comfort for the operator. Across Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, the silhouette of the 4020 came to mean progress. Farmers trusted that when they turned the key, the machine would rise to the day's demands. The 4020 carried a 6-cylinder diesel engine producing around 95 horsepower, a leap forward for its class. Displacement measured 404 cubic inches, tuned for steady power under heavy implements. Rated at about 2,200 RPM, the engine delivered both torque and speed. Buyers could choose gasoline, diesel, or even LP gas versions, though diesel dominated. A synchro-range transmission offered 8 forward and 2 reverse speeds, while later models introduced the power shift option, giving effortless gear changes. Top speed approached 20 miles per hour, quick for its size. The tractor weighed close to 9,000 pounds, heavy yet balanced, with a fuel tank capacity of roughly 34 gallons, enough for the longest harvest days. Farmers admired more than power. The 4020 introduced modern features, differential lock for traction, better hydraulics, and improved operator comfort. Its wide platform, easier steering, and quieter cab made 12-hour shifts bearable. Implements, from plows to planters, attached easily, turning the 4020 into a year-round workhorse. Durability became its legacy. Owners joked that a 4020 could run longer than the barn itself. Memories flood back of its engine note, a deeper, smoother rumble than earlier models. At dawn, the 6-cylinder fired with confidence, filling the air with the steady throb of diesel. Exhaust smoke rose above corn tassels, drifting blue against summer skies. Children remembered clinging to the wide fenders, the vibration buzzing through their boots, as the smell of warm grease and chaff filled the air. On today's used market, the John Deere 4020 remains a star. Collectors and working farms alike seek it, but buyers must check transmission wear, hydraulic leaks, and rear tires stressed by decades of pulling. Replacement parts are still widely available, and specialized mechanics keep them running strong. Depending on condition, prices generally range from $8,000 to $20,000, with pristine restorations climbing higher. Many farmers say that even at those prices, a good 40/20 is worth every penny. The legacy of the 40/20 cannot be overstated. It became Deere's best-selling tractor of the era, shaping the company's reputation worldwide. Its mix of power, reliability, and comfort influenced generations of tractors that followed. At farm shows today, rows of shining green 40/20s line the grounds, engines humming, owners proud to share their stories. Picture it once more, a broad green hood moving steady across golden rows, yellow wheels biting into soil, diesel rhythm echoing beyond the horizon. The John Deere 40/20 is more than a tractor, it is a symbol of American farming's leap into modern power. At the end of the dirt road, the little red one waits, tougher than the legend says. Massey Ferguson 135. Year 1964. A small red frame rolled onto the world stage, carrying with it the quiet confidence of simplicity done right. The Massey Ferguson 135 was built in Coventry, England, and soon spread across America and beyond. It was not the biggest tractor, nor the most powerful, but for countless family farms it became the most dependable partner. By the late 1960s, red and gray silhouettes were everywhere, from the rolling hills of Tennessee to the wide plains of Texas. The 135 was the tractor that simply worked. Under its hood, farmers could choose between Perkins diesel, gasoline, or Continental gasoline engines. The most popular Perkins 3-cylinder diesel produced about 45 horsepower at rated speed, delivering efficient power with remarkable fuel economy. Displacement measured 152 cubic inches, and its steady 2000 RPM kept implements moving without strain. Transmission choices included a basic 6-speed or the improved 8-speed, offering flexibility for different fieldwork. Top speed was around 15 miles per hour, more than enough for hauling wagons. A fuel tank capacity near 12 gallons kept it running through long afternoons. At about 3,700 pounds, it was light, maneuverable, yet strong for its class. The 135 earned its reputation through ease of use. Steering was light, controls were simple, and the Perkins engine started even on cold mornings. Its hydraulics lifted plows, loaders, and mowers with little complaint. Fuel efficiency became legendary. Farmers said the Perkins diesel sipped fuel like a miser yet pulled like a giant. Its straightforward design meant anyone with a wrench and patience could keep it alive. Memories remain vivid. At sunrise, the 135's 3-cylinder beat echoed gently across quiet fields. Its smaller frame rattled softly, the exhaust puffing in rhythm like an old hymn. Many remember leaning on its fenders while raking hay, the smell of warm diesel and dry grass thick in the air. For young farmhands, it was often the first tractor they learned to drive, its controls forgiving and its size less intimidating. On the second-hand market, the MF135 is still in high demand. Buyers should check the clutch and rear hydraulics, as decades of lifting can wear components. Rust around the battery box and fenders is common, but most repairs are straightforward. Spare parts remain plentiful, and whole communities of restorers trade advice and components. Prices generally range from $3,000 to $7,000 depending on condition, though pristine restorations can bring more. Many say a good MF135 is still capable of working daily even after 50 years. Its legacy is profound. The 135 became a global icon of reliability, shaping Massey Ferguson's reputation worldwide. It proved that simplicity, when well engineered, could endure across generations. From America to Africa, many 135s still plow, mow, and haul, their red paint faded but their spirit strong. Picture the scene, a small red tractor at the end of a dirt lane, idling steady, ready for another day's work. The Massey Ferguson 135 stands not just as a memory, but but as a living link to farming heritage. And if these stories stir memories of your own, perhaps of a tractor you rode, repaired, or still keep, consider sharing them with us. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with your experiences, and join the community keeping these machines alive. Farming history is richer when told together.